Good afternoon, Louise. Thank you for the opportunity to meet and present an update on part of our overall digital transformation journey here in the houses of the Oireachtas in Ireland. My name is Curran Doyle, and I'm the Chief Information Officer in the IT division of the Irish Parliament. So I think at this point, like most organisations who've been doing this for about 10 years now, digital transformation is no longer really a journey, it's a lifestyle or a necessity for institutions such as ourselves. And today, Colm, Ronan, and Colm who will introduce themselves later, will focus on how we first developed the long-term vision for digital transformation of our parliamentary services, the work we did, the programs we envisaged from that, the work we've done to date, and the work that's to come next. Then we'll focus on how our transformed processes and systems at the heart of our parliamentary sittings are opening up the proceedings and business of the Parliament unlike ever before, and setting us up for new levels of information service delivery across our own staff and their business units, to the members and their staff, and most importantly to the citizen. And with that, I'd like to hand over to my colleague Kealy, who will introduce himself and take you through the first part of our presentation today.
Yeah, I'll go ahead. So my name is Kealy, and I'm a program manager here at the Irish Parliament, which is known as the Houses of the Oireachtas, and I'm going to talk to you about what we've been doing, on digital transformation since around 2017. And then my colleagues, Colm, McNamara and Ronan and Curran, are going to give you some demonstrations of the systems that we have developed in the past few years. We have two houses here at the Oireachtas. So you'll hear me during the presentation today refer to Doyle throughout the presentation. So Doyle is our lower house and the principal chamber of the houses of the Oireachtas. And then we have a Shanna there as well, which is the upper house of the houses of the Oireachtas. And then we have committees, which are groups of members who need to focus on specific subjects. But just to give people a bit of context about what Doyle is, I'll be talking about Doyle business and refer to Doyle several times. So we'll cover what we've done for Shannon as well, and a little bit what we've done for committees too. But the main focus is going on for today will be on the Doyle side of things. So I guess our vision back in 2017 was, and Ciarán has already alluded to it, that we would develop intuitive, collaborative, integrated solutions, and we would make proceedings of the Oireachtas more open and accessible. And so what we'll be hopefully doing today in the next hour is demonstrating the progress that we have made. So really, back in 2017, we were in this position. Legacy systems, the systems that we had built were silos, developed really for one purpose probably and for one business unit. So lots of paper, lots of spreadsheets around all over the organisation, with data being kind of repeatedly entered all across the organisation, leading to all of that duplication of efforts, also leading to manual errors with constant entering of information and re-entering of information and how it would work. So really, kind of a workplace that needed some investment, and we needed to embark on a digital transformation. So what we wanted to move to was this. So we wanted to modernise technology. We wanted to have an integrated system. We wanted to be in a position where we're entering data once, and then we would share that data across the whole organisation, and that would allow us to streamline processes and work in a more collaborative way. So that was from where we wanted to get to back in 2017. And we did start with an enterprise architecture review, and we started by reaching out to all business areas to find out what were their business processes, and we mapped all of that. So before we did any development, we started with enterprise architecture review and business process mapping. And we recorded all of that, and that was actually done back around 2016 and 2017. And at that point, we realised that digital transformation, there was going to be a lot in it, and we broke it into effectively 6 programs of work. So, one of them was improving technology in the chamber. You'll see there we had the digital modernization program, which was about introducing Outlook and Teams and Windows, basically modernizing people's desktops. And we had a couple of other programs as well, like a corporate program, which is about improving things for our HR people and our finance people. But the program that I'm going to focus on today is our Parliamentary Procedures program. So we had 3 key decisions to make before we really got into this Parliamentary Procedures program. Did this need to be a bespoke development, or was there something off the shelf that we could purchase? And the nature of procedures is that they are very bespoke. So that was quite a quick decision that we were going to have to develop this integrated system ourselves. So it was going to be a bespoke development. So the next question was, what was our development stack to be? So, we did a review of all our options on the basis of costs and availability of skills in the market, security, support, maturity, and we reviewed a number of development stacks. So the chosen stack was on screen there, an Azure.NET, Angular, SQL database stack. So that was going to be our development stack. And next decision was around our methodology. So our methodology is mostly waterfall, and I'll demonstrate that in a second. But the waterfall is the stages would be analysis, followed by requirements gathering, into functional design, specification, waterfall into development, test, then into business process tests, and then deployment and operations. So it is mostly waterfall, but we have some agile principles in the development and testing phase. So I'll cover that in a little bit of detail in a second. So this is our methodology. This stage, the analysis and design stage, has a number of steps where we started with that business process mapping. Then we gather requirements. Then we do design workshops. We write comprehensive functional design specifications. We build out prototypes. We use those prototypes to do user observation testing. Just make sure what we're going to build is right. Then we have our governance in place around this methodology, where we start with a project initiation document, approval on that. We try and manage risks as best we can. We have our project plans. We have our metrics that we run along the way, just to try and keep our projects on track and just on schedule. And we have different governance groups that oversee and monitor and just provide oversight of all the projects that we run. And we've run a lot since 2017. So this is the development and testing cycle. We do our architecture, we do our database design, and then we get into development and testing, and we test using user stories. And that's the iteration, that's the agile piece. We have a little bit of agile, where we work in iterations, we work in sprints, we develop a piece, we test a piece, we demo that piece to our business units and make sure that it is what they need it to be, it suits their needs. And then we continue in cycles until the whole application is built, both for fixing along the way. And when it's ready, we give it to our business teams to do their business process testing. Change requests come up at various stages if we haven't got everything right at the analysis and design stage. So they're part of the methodology, and they go through governance just to control costs. So, and then we do those demos, as I said, along the way. And really going live, we change management, trying to make sure that all works well, and we do training videos, newsletters to announce what's coming to the whole organisation, and kind of wrap up a project by writing a closure report and doing the post-project benefits realisation review. So really, the goal for the organisation was to move from paper-based, and what you see on the left there is what was our paper-based order paper that was printed on a daily basis and laid out around the chamber, members to pick up and use in the chamber, to a digital version, which is our dog business fair, which we demonstrated later on. And then this is a second example of how paper-based we were, where votes were taken in committee rooms on a paper-based form on the left, and that's all digital now, where applications are used in the committee rooms, and the vote is taken on the screen there, as you can see. So really, what we wanted the procedural system to be back in 2017 was enter once, store that information on a relational database, share that data across the organisation and with the public. And we wanted to do that on in multiple places. So we are at a point now where information is on signage, information is on a member's portal, information is on the dog business website, which I was a second ago, and the guys will demonstrate on in a few minutes. So this really kind of demonstrates our enter once principle. So this is what we have on screen is our bills application, where bill information is entered into that application by users in the bills office. Now, once it's entered there, it's available everywhere to be reused. So we have an application which allows us to schedule business in the chamber, and that bill can be scheduled in there. That same bill that was entered into the bills again. When it's scheduled, it's available to be viewed on Doyle Business, which is a publicly available website. And then when it comes to the day that the business will be taken, we have our chamber business manager, and that bill will be taken in there and can be played in the chamber business manager. It's also on the day available to see on signage. Oireachtas is our members portal, so our members can see that it's scheduled in their portal, and it's available. The same bill information is brought through to our website, oireachtas.ie. So the next few screenshots are just kind of a clearer view of that. So this is bills admin. This is the bill, the gambling regulation bill. There it is, that same bill, gambling regulation bill, available to be scheduled in the scheduler. There's the same bill on Doyle Business, scheduled for that particular day. Same bill again available in the Chamber Business Manager. Same bill again available on signage, and you'll see this much clearer later on when Colm and Ronan demonstrates for this. You'll see this really in action. These are just screenshots from the various applications on signage. This is the members portal, same bill again. And this is our publicly available website, Oireachtas.ie, where the bill is there again. So that's what we've done on the Doyle side, and we've tried to progress our transformation for all areas of the organisation. So on the committee side, we've built a committee administration module, a committee scheduler, an application where committee meetings are run in our 4 committee rooms, and we can start the meeting, end the meeting, take a vote. And then we have our committee task manager module, which allows the staff of the committee secretary to manage work items, plan meetings, assign the work items, record and publish decisions, and manage their documents. So we've made progress for the committee side of things as well as the Doyle side of things. And that similarly, that same information that's captured once in those committee applications is available in Oireachtas members portal. It is presented on signage, and it is presented on our website, oireachtas.ie. And now that we have all this information available in one place on a relational database, we've found that we're able to write various reports on all this data. And those reports have allowed us to analyze data, performance, behaviours, allows our business units to manage it themselves and manage how they plan and organise things better. We can review our process procedures, basically make improvements to how we operate and train people. That's really only the beginning for reporting, because it's only now that we have really valuable information in there, and we can start to look at how we can use it and how we can get value from that data. So look, the very quick slide on what's to come. We're about to run a project, called Parliamentary Questions Project, where members will be able to submit their questions through the members portal. We have a chamber business manager that's in operation in the Doyle chamber, but the next phase of that is to produce a clerk sheet from that application. So that's another development project. And similarly, on the committee side, our next project is to build a decision manager application. So that's it from me. I'm going to hand it over to Colm McNamara, who's going to give that demonstration of the Chamber Business Manager and how that information is sent to all our signage across the
Hi folks, my name is Colm McNamara. I'm a part of the digital team and I've been working on the Chamber Business System and Doyle signage in the last number of years, and I'm going to give you a quick walkthrough of what the Chamber Business System is, and I'm going to just look at some elements of it at the very end. I'm going to give you a demonstration of the Chamber Business System with some of the outputs and signage. So the Chamber Business System is a system using the Chamber by the clerks to manage the sitting. Now, before, what would happen is that we would obviously have a very paper-based system. We would have schedules for the day, and the start times of items would be kind of set in stone. And as the day went on, as those times went out of sync, members couldn't really track that sort of thing because we didn't have any kind of dynamic updated information. It was up to members themselves to try to judge when they had to be in the chamber and judge when they had to be in on speaking lists to speak on items. The Chamber Business System uses inputs from various stakeholders throughout the Oireachtas to try and provide a dynamic digital version of the schedule and speakers lists to allow members who use this digital information to help them manage their day better as well. So it provides a dynamic version of the Doyle schedule and real-time information. So as the items run over in the Doyle, or if items finish early, or if there's unusual items that happen, suspensions or votes, the Chamber Business System will be able to account for all of these things and provide updated times for the schedule and speakers throughout a sitting day. This is managed by the Chamber Business team. A specific team was set up to manage this element to kind of be a centre point of contact between various whips and party administrators and health services within the Oireachtas here. So we're going to look at Chamber Business System. Itself it comprises of two modules. So there's the pre-chamber element of it. It's the staging module where the Chamber Business team will prepare speakers lists, chairs notes in advance of the sitting. Parliamentary staff and the Whip's office will input their speakers, House services and others will input other information as well. So this direct input can then be used in the chamber when the Doyle begins to sit. And when the Doyle sits, the in-chamber module is what is used by the clerks. There's a specific role called the system clerk. They will use this system in the chamber to ring bells, alerts, call divisions, play speakers, and play items. This information then can be viewed by the other clerk, usually the advisory clerk that sits in, and also the chair. And information is also put into signage in the chamber, which we'll look at in a minute. So the reason that the Chamber Business System is a good system to kind of demonstrate is that it is a central point for a lot of the other procedural work that has been done in the modules in the House of Oireachtas. As Colm Kealy talked about there, there are various different modules feeding into other modules that then have their outputs elsewhere. So like bills admin, the motions module, the Doyle business manager, and the business schedule will feed information into the Chamber Business System. That allows then the parliamentary staff, the whips, party administrators, house services, allows them to input more information to do their work. And then where does the information go? Well, the clerks in the chamber will use it. The advisory clerk will see the information. the chair will have a kind of a read-only view to see what's upcoming speakers, upcoming items and timings. The signage in the chamber around the campus, that will display this information. We have a members portal, which Ronan will give a demonstration of, where this dynamic information will go directly to members' desktops and their phones. It'll also go to the member staff. And then we have a Doyle business website, which is a website for procedural information only, and the dynamic information goes there. And then our Oireachtas website, which is a wider website, wider information. So what I'm going to do now is just try to kind of set the scene of what the Doyle Éireann chamber looks like, and just try and get context of what the chamber business system means here. So this is the Doyle chamber. In the very center, you'll see, maybe you can't see there, there's the chair where the Count Corla, our chair of the house, will sit, and in front there's a desk with 2 seats where the clerks will sit to manage the system. Behind there are 2 large screens. This will display the sitting and speaking information, and around the edge there are 4 railing screens which also they will display time information. So if a member has 10 minutes left to speak, the countdown timer will appear on those railing screens. So this here is when the Doyle is in session, just to give a better view of it. So at the back there is our the Count Corla, and she will have at her desk a read-only view of chamber business system. In front there's 2 clerks. The clerk on the right will end up being the systems clerk. They will operate the chamber, the system in the chamber, activating speakers, reordering, deleting speakers as necessary. The facing out of the clerk on the left would be what we call the advisory clerk, whose primary role is to advise the chair and will monitor the work of the system clerk. So just to give you an idea, this is the clerk's desk, and what the clerks will actually see. So we have a setup where we've 2 Doyle screens where you can see the schedule for the day and the sittings on the right. On the system clerk will operate on the right hand side. They will have 2 screens. One will have the schedule of the day, and one will have the speakers list. And so they can operate that there, while the clerk on the left hand side, the advisory clerk, can monitor and view this as well as is going on. This is the kind of the screen, and I will give a demonstration of it, but this is the view of the speakers list with play buttons and reset, and can be reordered. This is what the chair will see. This is what the clerks will see when they're actually in doing their job. The green bar at the top showing the current item. This is the view from the chair's desk. So again, they will have a mirrored screen in front, so the clerk of the advisory clerk can show them whatever they need to see around notes, and on the right they'll have their view of the speakers, so they'll know to call them. And left we have a small screen of digital signage. So this is, again, just to give you an idea, there's 2 screens at the back of the chamber that are visible for all members in the house. So over 160 members can be in the Doyle as it sits, and they can look up and see what's currently happening, what item are we on, what are the current speakers, what are the upcoming speakers. That's actually there. So this is an example of what would be on that signage. So on the top left there is when the Doyle is about to assemble before the sitting starts. You see an alert bar at the top. The see an item without speakers listed, motion without debate is in progress. In the bottom left we have an item with speakers is in progress showing active speakers, and then the bottom right has a signage of if the house is suspended. As I spoke before about the railing screens, this is there are 4 of these that are placed around the chamber. They will show alerts, but are more importantly, they will show the countdown timers for members, so they will know how much time they have left for their contribution in the house. Again, a couple of examples. Time counting down goes red if you go over time. The bottom left, if a division has been called, gives an indication. For example, if a division has been called at midday, we have 6 minutes of bells, and then we have a 4-minute wait period, so they will know that they have 10 minutes before the actual vote starts. And then when the voting starts, the doors are locked, we can't get out, and the remaining screens will show that the House is voting. As well as the in-chamber signage, we have signage around the campus. So this is an example in one of the walls outside the Doyle chamber. And it has three screens, one for the Dáil on the left, one for the Seanad in the middle, and one for the four committee rooms on the right-hand side. These are located in multiple locations around the campus, so that members, as they are not in the chamber speaking, but are getting on with their day in other areas and going from place to place, can see who's speaking, what are the upcoming items. And we have different templates, and we show different information on different signs depending on the location or what we deem to be best use of those signs in those locations. So for example, here's a couple of examples. So the example on the left, we showed just the schedule and a live feed of what's happening in the Dáil at the moment. On the right, we don't have the live feed, so this would be maybe in a location that's near the chamber. If you're going in and out of the chamber, you don't need the live feed, but it also has the speakers list in case you want to know exactly who's speaking, not just the schedule of items. Around the campus as well, we have our Dáil at the bottom left with the QR code. The QR code will bring you to the Dáil business website to show you a kind of more detailed information on the schedule. So if you're going around, scan it on your phone, more detailed schedule, you can go and see the exact motions, the exact bills that are being discussed. Here, just to give a quick demonstration of our chamber business system. So on the right-hand side, you would have the chamber business system as viewed by the clerks sitting at the clerk desk. And on the right here, you would see on the bottom, it's the signage in the chamber, and on the top, it's the railing screens. So at the beginning of the sitting, the bell is called, and that means you have 5 minutes to get to the house. So around the campus, this alert bar in red will tell all, as well as the bell ringing, will tell members that they need to get to the chamber. After the bell has stopped ringing, we can start our first item of the day, which is leaders' questions. We'll see now that leaders' questions are shown. This is in Irish, so we have a requirement to show information both in English and in Irish, and our signage rotates every 15 seconds. So leaders' questions is in play at the moment. If I go into the speakers list, I can see Ronan Curran is the first speaker, and I activate that. So he has 4 minutes to speak. You can see from the signage within the chamber, Ronan Curran is speaking, the Taoiseach is up next. He's got 4 minutes. So it's instantaneous. As this information is clicked on in the chamber, you can this is immediately broadcast to signage in the chamber, signage around the campus, and as we'll see in a little bit later on Dáil business and Oireachtas. It had to be a very flexible system, so stuff like being able to immediately reorder speakers shows up instantaneously everywhere. The ability to delete speakers, to edit timings for speakers, has to be immediate, has to be very flexible, has to be something that can be done instantaneously. If a member comes down and goes, I'm not speaking, or I am actually taking a little bit more time, or I'm going ahead of my colleague, they need to be able to immediately make that change. That change then goes out exactly after we're there. Unusual things can happen in the Dáil, and in that case, we have the ability to do things called like suspend the house, or we can call it division. So if a division happens, we have the ability, and there's very complex types of divisions. We have different bell types, and that can be all done here. And as the division happens, again, the alert bar goes up to say we have a division has been called. The bells around the campus will ring, and signage and ordering around the campus will show a division has been called. You have this amount of time to get to the chamber. And then again, when the division starts, information will say we are voting. The doors are locked. We need to wait until the next turn, or we better be in the chamber. And when we end the vote, we get back to normal. So the item continuing and potentially the speaker continuing on. So these are the main things, just to give you a kind of a flavour of what we have. I'm going to stop sharing now, and I'm going to hand over to Ronan on that. But that's just the kind of first part. This part of Chamber Business manages the operations of the sittings. We're now going to build upon that with digital clerksheet, which will incorporate the decisions around motions and bills and all the things that are agreed in the House, and to be able to record that, to provide that output to members as well in a kind of more digitally transformed manner.
Okay, so my name is Ronan Curran, head of the digital team in the House of the Oireachtas, the Irish Parliament. And And today I'm going to be as brief as I can and run through work completed on the digital order paper, the Dobbs website, and the members portal. So if we start with the Dobbs website, as Colm McNamara and Colm Kealy have already alluded to, it's a public-facing digital order paper, and really it was the first major milestone under the Digital Parliament programme. It went live in November 2021, but before going live, there was a significant amount of work done in developing and testing back office modules such as motions module, statements module, and the bills module. So we had to first develop those modules and ensure they did what they were supposed to do. And then the next step was ensuring that the integrations worked between those back office modules and the Doyle Business website. So once all of that was done, the Doyle Business website went live, and that was in November 2021. And it was a hugely significant and high profile procedural change and modernisation for the organisation. We're moving from a static point in time printed order paper, as Colm Kealy has mentioned earlier, to, and it has been in existence, I should say, for over 100 years, to a web-based procedural tool that was available to members and the public alike. So a very significant change. In terms of enhancements and improvements, a number of improvements were made to the business website earlier this year in June 2025, and that's part of a continuous improvement piece under the maintenance and enhancements work stream within the Oireachtas. So, the Doyle Business website is evolving. So as and when new systems such as the Chamber Business System that Colm McNamara referred to just now, as that was developed and went live and was implemented, we were then able to layer in changes to the Doyle Business website to capture live information that was coming directly from the Chamber Business System. And all of that really, the enhancements coupled with the website itself, that's created much greater clarity and transparency around the business that's being transacted in the house. So we can now provide members and the citizen alike, we can provide them with, and their key stakeholders, I should say, we can provide them with more comprehensive insights into the workings of the Doyle, the business that's being taken, the arrangements for the taking of the business, and how the business is progressing. So much greater transparency around the workings of the Doyle and the work of members, which is obviously a good thing. So the Doyle Business website, really, it's much more than just a digital version of the old printed order paper. It's now a central point for stakeholders and a large cohort of users to view the schedule of business, view the items of business that are before the house, and they can track in real time how business is progressing, and they can view the projected start times as well. And importantly, since September 2021, it's a repository of all items of business that have been considered in the house in the form of a digital archive. So, whereas previously, if you wanted to research, or look up a motion or a bill or statements that were taken into the house, there'll be a number of disparate locations that you have to go to actually find that information, whereas now we have a centralized digital archive, and that's growing all the time as we move forward. So this is actually the live environment of the Doyle Business website, because we have a sitting today. So I think it's a good opportunity to actually show the live environment at work. So the first thing to mention here is that we have on top right of the screen, you see Gaeilge and English. It's bilingual. So if I toggle to Gaeilge to Irish, all content is available to use in Irish, or if I toggle to English, it's available in English. So that's the first thing to call out. A huge amount of work is done on that, and we're required to show all the content for public-facing websites bilingually. So I'll leave it in English for the purposes of this demo. You can see on screen there's a Doyle schedule tab there, and the white tile 22nd today. The white tile indicates there is business for that day in question. Directly underneath, you can see business committee report and daily order paper PDF. The business committee report here, this is one of the enhancements that were carried in earlier in the year. This is the official report of the business committee, which is comprised of members of the Dáil, and they meet weekly to agree on the schedule of business. So, Colm Kealy mentioned earlier that we have a back office scheduling module, well, that's called the business committee report module. And as soon as the information is circulated in that module, it hits a number of endpoints, and one of those endpoints is the Dáil business website. So this page here shows all the business that has been agreed to be taken within the business committee, and it as soon as it circulates as an integration piece, and it moves on to the landing page, to the Dáil schedule tab here of the Dáil business website. So it's again, it goes back to the one source of truth and using the same information multiple times, like Colm Kealy referred to. So that's what this is in action. As soon as the business for the week in question is circulated in that back office module, it hits the Dáil business website here, and it's there for public consumption. So in terms of the live information piece, excuse me, as McNamara said, information comes directly from the Chamber Business System to here. So you can see there's government business currently on, statement on fisheries, and you can see the time that started, and it is shaded green. So the item that's shaded green is one that's currently in progress, as you can see from the label in progress as well to the right. And as and when items of business are started and then they go through the House, they're considered and completed, they appear here under the completed business heading. So you can see this is today's business that has been transacted in the House, starting with topical issues, which began at 9:03, moved all the way through to government business, and again, government business statement of fisheries is the item that's currently being taken in the House. So it's that additional value that's being added for users of the website. They can now track in real time how the business of the House is progressing, and it's coming directly from the Chamber Business System that's being used in the Chamber. And you can also see the projected adjournment time there as well. Some additional information below, which is very useful, and again, it's that piece where it's giving users of the website additional context and helping users of the website understand how the business is ordered in the House and the arrangements for the taking of that business. So you can see here on screen, this is directly from the business committee report, the official business committee report, and it provides details on how certain items of business are going to be taken for the day in question. And then underneath, members to then see upcoming Thursday evening business. So there's a huge amount of information now available, a huge amount of data that we have, and that's all made available to members and citizens, which are key stakeholders. And it's visible here on the Dáil business website. So that's the landing page or the Dáil schedule tab. If I just move down along the left-hand navigation bar here to bills, so this shows all the bills that are currently before the House for consideration. So you can see 3 tabs on the top: bills on this week, we've all bills, and then bills that are with the Shannon. So the Shannon is the House, the second House of Oireachtas. So bills on this week, these are scheduled in the business committee report module, and they'll appear here. You can see there are 3 bills that are being considered this week. If we move to the middle tab, all bills, there's a number of quick filters here. Whereas previously, with the printed order paper, it was very hard to find. There was a PDF that was uploaded online, so the number of printed copies for use on campus, but there was a PDF uploaded online. It's very difficult to actually find items of business in a PDF. So this is a real improvement in terms of the search functionality. So you can search a bill by title, by sponsor, by committee, as you can see along here. Our quick filters, click on government. You can see here, it's finding down now, there's a total of 14 government bills before the Dáil. Click on private members. You can see there's a total of 143 private members bills before the Dáil, and so on. So that's very useful for end users. If you scroll down again, you'll note that every bill before the House has its own individual file. So you can see here, this is the short title of the bill, acquisition of development land, so forth. And then selected information, so the number of the bill, type, private members, sponsor, date it was added to the website, and the current stage it's at. So if I actually click into the bill, you can see there's additional information. So we have the short title, the long title of the bill, and then we have additional information underneath. So we have a category, originating house, the money bill status on the other side, and so forth. So there's a huge amount of information there that's available to users of the website. I just want to also show this piece here. So if I click on go to bill, this directs me to the Oireachtas website, which is Face Oireachtas website, and there's additional information relating to the bill in question. So you can see here, the bill as initiated is available in PDF format. There are related documents, so there's an explanatory memo. If there were amendments made to the bill, they would appear here, and then the debates, linked to the debates, are also there as well. So again, it's a useful useful tool for use of the website. And the share item here, share this item just on the right hand side, it can be shared across all those platforms as well, easily shared, which would of course be useful for members if they want to share items of business across social media and so forth. So if I again will move down the left-hand navigation bar, I won't spend too long on this because the layout's very similar. Motions on this week, all motions. See here, there are currently 9 motions on the Dáil Business website, and again, you can search by search by title, sponsor, and then quick filters again, similar to what we have seen in the bills. Go down to statements, same layout, statements on this week, and all statements is just one set of statements on, and that's the one that's currently being taken in the House. Money messages indicates the money messages that are currently before the House. They appear here, and then the my pinned items. If I just see this icon here on the closed instance, that's available for bills, motions, and statements as well. If I click on that, you can see it's added to my pinned items. So it's for users who wish to track the progress. Generally, you wouldn't do it for a money message, but you probably do it for a bill or a motion. You can track the progress of an item of business by clicking on the pin icon, and it'll appear here. Further down, weekly papers. This is the PDF files uploaded each week by one of the back offices in the organisation, and it details all items of business that are currently before the House and our business website. The document slate page is just a link up to the document slate portal, so for documents that are laid before the House. And I mentioned the archive earlier. This is the archive here. Received some very good feedback on the archive feature. Everything is brought centralized in one location. Bills, as you can see, run horizontally across top bills, motions, statements, money messages, other items. They're all here as of from September 2021, when the parallel run was started. All items of business that have been considered in the House appear here in the archive, digital archive on the business website. And again, similar to bills, motion statements. There's extensive search functionality there. You can search by items on the committee, and there's additional filters. That's the same across motions and statements and so forth. So that's it's a very quick, and I've gone through a lot there in a short period of time. But that in essence is the highlights of the law business website. And it's going back to Colm Kealy's point, it's the public facing website, but there are equivalent back office modules for the likes of bills, motion statements, so forth, money messages, and there's integration at play there across all of those back office modules, and it's just served up here for public consumption then on the Law Business website. So what is the members portal? It's an online portal which delivers content and services to members of the Dáil and the Seanad and to their staff. So members of both houses. Members can delegate access to their staff in the portal to carry out actions on their behalf, which is obviously important in terms of administrative roles. Members may not have the time, so you can delegate access to their staff, access the portal on their behalf, and carry out tasks on their behalf. It's fully bilingual, similar to Law Business, and it's available to members and delegated staff on desktop and via mobile devices. And had a big push recently since the last general election, most recent general election in November of last year, and we had a big push to get the members portal onto members' phones and onto phones of delegates as well, and we've been successful today in doing that. In terms of the what has been delivered to date, the members' portal, it's been the functionality is being delivered on a multi-phase basis. So in July 2022, Oireachtas was launched, and the submission of topical issues and council matters went live. Just the context there, topical issues and council matters, they're questions basically that can be submitted by members of the Dáil and members of the Seanad, and they can submit any question relating to public policy and look to get a member of the government or Minister of State in to answer a question of their own choosing. So they're a very, very important procedural tool. It's an opportunity for members of both houses to get a member of the government or your minister in and answer a question of their choosing. There's, I think, in the Dáil chamber, there's a maximum standing orders, I think, provided for a maximum of 5 to be selected each day, and within the Seanad, I think the maximum of 4 are selected each sitting day. And the chairperson of each house makes a selection. So, so very important procedural tool that's open to members of both houses. And not just this, obviously, is the member-facing side of Oireachtas, but in July 2022, there was a back office element as well. So, 2 back office units who process these questions, topical issues, and business matters. There was a back office system, Oireachtas system was developed, and significant testing and development on that, which also went live, coincided with the member facing Oireachtas going live. In May 2023, Parliamentary business calendar went live. In February 2024, live information relating to proceedings and committees went live, and then March of this year, which has been a big draw and it's landed very well. We received really, really strong feedback from members and staff alike. Live information relating to proceedings in the Dáil, my speakers list, and the chair rota went live in Oireachtas. And in terms of what's to come, Colm Kealy mentioned this, parliamentary questions, PQs, and Oireachtas. So members and their staff will be able to submit parliamentary questions, and from, I think, Q3 of next year. They're to do that via the members portal platform, and that's a significant body of work, because there's hundreds of thousands of PQs submitted every year by members. So as you can see, it's a staggered basis, multi-phase delivery with new services and functionality being added as we progress, and value each time, I suppose, which is Austrian. So this is a test environment. It's not live. So you can see my name top left. I'm in as the member of the Dáil. So first thing to supposed to touch on here is again the bilingual piece. Toggle on top right. All content can be viewed in Irish or in English. Again, the members of both houses have the ability to delegate access to up to 5 staff members on the platform. So if I start here, you see the green banner running horizontally across the top. So you'll note there's 2 parts to it. There's a dividing line, and to the left of that is information relating to proceedings in the Dáil, and to the right, information relating to proceedings in committees. So for just if I start with the Dáil on the left-hand side here, you can see leaders' questions. That's the item of business that's currently being taken in the chamber, and on Taoiseach is currently in session. So the Taoiseach, our Prime Minister, again it's test environment, but our Prime Minister is currently speaking. So this gives a view of exactly what is happening in the chamber, and it moves from the chamber business system, as Colm McNamara showed earlier, moves from the chamber business system instantly to this portal. So members can view what's happening in the chamber, either on desktop or on mobile if they're offsite, if they're not within the Lancashire House environment. If I click on the icon here, you'll see the live schedule view. So the item of business, as I just said, that's highlighted green. It's leaders' questions, and you can see the start time there. But you'll note there's projected start times for all the items of business underneath. So depending on how business progresses in the chamber, those start times could update in accordance with the progress of business in the house. So if these questions runs over by 5 minutes, the start times for subsequent items of business will update accordingly, and if it finishes early, the same happen. Items of business will move forward, and then just a live podcast is also available to users in Australia here on the platform. Just a very quick word on committees as well. Again, if I click on this icon, you'll see there's 4 committee meetings taking place across the 4 committee rooms in Leinster House. 2 of them are public and 2 of them are private. So information relating to the start time, projected end time, the title of the committee and the committee room it's in, and you see there's a toggle here as well, and users within Auckland can view proceedings of public session committees. So if the committee is in a public session, can view proceedings via the toggle here. Can view proceedings if the committee is in a private session. But if there's a vote in a committee, or a quorum bell, or if there's an ensemble bell at the start of a committee meeting, that would be here as well. So users will be able to see what's currently happening. That's real time from committee rooms as well, thanks to the development of committee modules that Colm Kealy mentioned earlier. I might just to demonstrate it, Colm McNamara, if you wouldn't mind just maybe calling a vote, if you could, and just to show what happens on the live banner. So there you go. So Colm McNamara has just called the vote. He's acting again as test environment. He's acting as the systems clerk in the chamber. So you can see it's an instant. Colm updated the chamber business system. He called a division of vote at 17:09, and that's visible now to me as a user in Auckland, and particularly useful, I suppose, for members to have it on their mobile devices as well. So I think that's everything in terms of the live information piece in Auckland, the members portal, I should say. Just to mention that Colm has already, Colm McNamara has discussed this, but you can see here there's a My Speakers list tile, and you can see the items of business that are detailed in this. This is all the speakers list that I, as a member, have been added to. So I'm speaking on leaders' questions. I'm going to speak on the motion media Israel Palestine conflict as well. So you can see the items of business that I am down to speak on as a member. And obviously, leaders' questions has been taken now, just now label there. But if I click on see all speakers lists here, so you can see this up here on the right hand side, there's my list. So again, that's just what we've seen on the dashboard, but there's also all lists. So these are all speakers lists for the day in question, Wednesday 22nd. And if I click into expand that and click into leaders' questions, you can see here that the Taoiseach the Taoiseach is currently speaking, and if Colm can start me, there we go. So again, this instant, I'm now down as speaking, and you can see that that updates as well. So this is, we received very, very positive feedback from members, particularly in relation to this, because it gives members the opportunity to view really at a granular level, you know, the projected start time for their own speaking slots. So you can see, you know, 17:13, Deputy Holly Kearns is due to speak in the House. If you go down again, you'll see all down below that'll not run on and waterfall. So if something finishes early, that speaking time will update and it'll be earlier start time. If the speaker before goes over time, that will impact the start time. So again, some really good feedback on that from members, because it gives them much greater insights into when they'll be needed in the chamber to make their contribution on an item of business. So that's speakers, and then one final point on the back of the dashboard. Again, best environment here, but I'm in as a temporary chair. So we have the chairperson, vice chairperson, and temporary chairs who sometimes take the chair. They're selected from a pool of members of the House. You can see here monitoring slots. So a member will be able to see when they're scheduled to be actually in the chair and chairing proceedings in the House. So just something like that. And then just another couple of things I wanted to flag here before we finish up. There's on the left-hand navigation bar, there's a parliamentary business calendar, and you can see there's a number of bills running horizontally across here. So we were speaking about the back office scheduling module, the business committee report module. As soon as that's circulated, the Doyle calendar here is updated automatically. So this is one of the endpoints for that. And you can also see committees here as well. So committees, from the systems developed for committees, once the schedule is published, it moves and it's relayed to the Australian calendar under the committees bill. So like, this is the first time really that we've brought together information relating to the Doyle schedule, Shannon's schedule as well, PQ rota deadlines, training HR, bill amendment deadlines, and research and information. So we've brought together a huge amount of information into one location. So obviously it's centralized now, and members, all the members of both houses and the delegated staff have access to this. So very, very useful for them. And then the final point, one piece just wanted to cover is topical issues and commencement matters. So discussed it already. It's questions that can be submitted by members of the Doyle, members of the Shannon, and their staff. You can see here, you can create the topical issue or commencement matter here. There's mandatory fields. They have to be completed the date for answer to the department to which it's going to be issued, and the nature of the issue itself. So once a commencement matter or topical issue is created, it's submitted via this portal, it goes automatically to the department in question, and it goes to the relevant back office. And the reason it goes to the relevant back office is that the back office will then bring it to the attention of the chair. So the chair will ultimately chair both houses. Will ultimately make a selection on which matters are to be taken the following day. So we have really strong usage of this, and again, good feedback from members, their staff, and colleagues in the back offices who are using Google back office systems, because it's really after streamlining their processes and automating their processes where possible. So in terms of again, I've gone through a lot in a short period of time, but I don't think there's much else to cover here, other than to say that the PQ project will be available on this platform in the members portal, and obviously PQs are very important to the members, in ways in which to raise questions with members of the government, and they'll be able to do that here in Ireland and on the members portal platform, and they'll be able to track the progress of their PQs and the replies they get. They'll be able to do that all within this platform.